Welcome to Financial Minds. I'm Jamie Agostino, your host. Today, we're sitting down with the Asset Liability Management team at Vizo Financial. This team plays a critical role in helping credit unions make informed financial decisions and stay financially strong in challenging economic environments. The ALM team helps credit unions understand and manage things like interest rate risk, liquidity, and overall balance sheet strategy. Their insights help leaderships plan ahead, evaluate different scenarios, and ultimately make decisions that support long-term stability and growth. Please join me in welcoming our ALM team to the podcast. Would each of you mind just taking a moment, introduce yourself, as well as your role here on the Vizo Financial ALM team? Melissa, would you mind going first?
Yeah, thanks, Jamie. Thanks for having us on today. My name is Melissa Scott, and I am the VP of ALM Services. Been here for quite some time and kind of oversee the group, which there's a lot of us, and we'll talk about that a little bit later.
All right. Jamie, how about you go next?
Great. Thanks, Jamie. My name's Jamie Thacker. I am an ALM senior consultant, help a variety of credit unions, various asset sizes, do a lot of different things. And so we want to, we're trying to partnership with the credit unions to, like you said, plan ahead, get, make quality, help be a tool for management to be able to make great decisions. So that's our main focus.
All right. And Michael, would you mind introducing yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you, Jamie. Michael Rice. I am a senior ALM consultant as well, and I have been on the ALM team for 11 years now. Time flies. And in my role, kind of like with Jamie, we work directly consulting with credit unions and also working with the other staff on our team as they consult and work with our members.
All right. And to that point, there's more than just the three of you. So I know there's several others on your team. So would you mind telling us who's on your team and what they're responsible for?
Sure. In addition to the three of us, we have 7 others on our team. And we have 2 other senior ALM analysts and then 5 ALM analysts. And so we all work together to deliver our products and our services. So it's a great team, a lot of depth with background with different various balance sheet and credit union banking knowledge. So it's super helpful when we do different processing and consulting projects because we all kind of are able to work together and pull off each other's strengths.
Okay. All right. Well, to get started, would you explain ALM to a non-financial person?
Yeah, that's a tricky one, right? But something we like to do here all the time is try to take really complicated concepts and boil them down to simple items because, often we're talking to a board member who might be new with minimal financial background. So it is something we answer frequently. So ALM basically is a way for credit unions to manage risk, which there's lots of different risks that credit unions manage, but this is one of them. And this specific risk is for buying and selling money. So if you take, most people have a mortgage or a car loan. So at a bank or a credit union, they're giving you money for a very long time, 30 years, let's say. And so you as a consumer have complete control over when you pay that back. You can pay it all back tomorrow, or you can take 30 years and pay it back over that time. So if you think about how long the credit union is giving you money, it's a very long time. Mm-hmm. At the same time, how they kind of pay for that is deposits coming in, and as they get money in from your checking account and so forth, they have to pay you different rates on that money over time, 30 years, right? And the markets change, but your fixed rate mortgage doesn't. So their margins kind of get compressed in different rate environments. And so the whole reason for this is to manage cash flow for both an earnings perspective and a long-term capital perspective to make sure that they do not take on too much risk. So that's it in a nutshell, really. There's a lot of things that go into it, but making sure they don't give everybody 30-year fixed rate mortgages, right? and run into problems. So it's helping them manage cash flows to protect earnings and protect capital and ultimately to protect the credit union member.
All right. So then why is ALM important at a credit union?
So just kind of like what Melissa was saying, given the services that a credit union offers their members, they're taking on risk. And so our job is really to help the credit union to balance, risk versus reward and make sure that they're able to monitor and measure that risk level. And so we just want to make sure it's not going to impact, like Melissa was saying, their earnings or their capital.
Understood. Okay. So then how does your team help or support credit unions with ALM?
So most of the time, Jamie, most of our credit unions we run a quarterly review that we take their information and put that into, we have a model that we put it into, and it projects out um, net interest income. And also, like Melissa was saying, we have the long-term valuation, the net economic value. And so we kind of help, we do a couple things. We help with assumptions and developing that because obviously, those rates are going to change. How does that look like? We also, um, we do ALCO meetings. So we try to help the credit unions understand what we're producing. And so that's a big um, service that we provide that really will uh, let them see like, okay, here's really where our risk lies. And so that's what we really want to get in front of Alcos as much as possible to be able to share that information and make sure they're understanding the report.
Okay. All right. So a few weeks ago, we had the Vizo Financial investment team on the podcast. How do the investment and ALM teams then work together to support credit unions?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different ways that kind of plays out, but I think the kind of the main way is that we see lots of balance sheets and we see the detail, right? And so we're kind of most of us are kind of accounting nerds and we kind of understand what's going on that balance sheet. And it can help us identify opportunities for the investment team on both sides of the balance sheet, right? Whether they have some items they need to invest if they're holding too much cash and they need to extend out those cash flows, like we talked about earlier, that's important for their risk and for their earnings. So we're able to kind of see that and then point in the right direction of, hey, maybe we need to identify some products that the investment team can help with. They help with more than just investments, right? So they're helping with lots of things on both sides of the balance sheet. And I think it's a nice kind of liaison feature that we have because we can see the detail, we understand the balance sheet, which is better translated, I think, to the investment team to help credit unions basically increase their earnings and protect their capital.
Okay. Well, what about liquidity? How is it related, and how does the ALM team assist credit unions with liquidity risk?
Well, liquidity risk is super important. So obviously, you got to have cash to pay the bills. So I always boil it down to like it's your kind of like your when you think about your personal finance. So if when you have cash, everything's good. When you don't have cash, that it makes things harder. So we want to be able to show credit unions what kind of liquidity risk they have. So we run a service for all our credit unions are available to do that. Not everybody does, so we still encourage everybody to get on that because we actually take your quarterly information that we receive, and then we project that out based off different things. It could be your budget, it could be just a scenario that you say, well, this is probably where we're looking at right now as far as we might have some loan growth or share growth or whatever. And so, but that actually helps you like understand like what your liquidity is going to be like over the next 12 months. So we run it on a 12-month scenario. And then we also provide some stress testing. And that's super important too, because credit unions want to see, hey, if things go sideways, what avenues do we have beyond the regular funding, share funding type? And so, we're going to look at, what kind of lines of credits you have and other, your investment products and everything else that goes into that.
Okay. All right. So, what other ways do you help beyond the regulatory reporting?
Well, we have a few different ways actually. So we want to be able to, we want this to be a tool for the credit unions, and so we offer simulations, what if scenarios for credit unions to be able to just look at, hey, we're thinking about a product. What does that, what happens when we implement that product? And based on different scenarios, we can show credit unions what that's going to look like. Along with we have a budgeting service that we can run budgets for credit unions. That's we do that on a regular basis, and so that's always important. At least through this time of year, those budgets are still somewhat intact. That they're going to change pretty quickly as the year goes on, but we can at least kind of start to project out and see what those things look like as well.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to stick with that budgeting. So, credit unions, I realize we're only at the beginning of 26, but it won't be here too far off where we'll be back into the budgeting season, and we'll be at that time of year. So tell me more about what you're doing to help credit unions in the area of budgeting.
So this is one of the exciting things for this year that we're going to get to roll out. Um, like Jamie has said, credit unions in the past have come to us wanting us to help with their budgeting cycle. And so we really listened to what credit unions have requested and wanted to see. And so this year, and I'm sure you'll hear more about it probably towards the midpoint of this year, we're going to be rolling out our new budgeting tool that's going to be able to leverage the model that the credit union already has with us. And we're going to be able to take their inputs that they want to see their balance sheet grow for the budgeting year and be able to formalize that process and provide the credit union with a streamlined approach to their budgeting needs.
Okay. All right. So what if, as a credit union, I'm happy with my current ALM process? Do you prepare validations?
Absolutely. So we understand, you may have a great solution already for ALM processing, and kind of like the old saying, if it's not broke, don't fix it. That doesn't mean we can't partner and still work with you. Through the validations is a perfect example. So if you're needing a validation, please, we would love to sit down and do a demo call, provide kind of what that service looks like, and kind of give you some estimated costs there as well.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Any final comments you'd like to share with our audience on how your roles in ALM are helping credit unions succeed?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different ways, but I think ultimately, credit union managers have a lot on their plate. And there's a lot of different things they need to be focusing on. And so having a trusted partner that you can rely on and say, hey, take a look at this. Like, I need some help. Give me some ideas. Give me some data to show to my ALCO and my board and my examiner. Like, that's why we're here, right? So we may not always know. We'll give you some ideas and we'll run it. We'll show you the numbers to kind of back up the thought. And I think that is really just a lot of that trusted partnership where they have information they can rely on to make a decision, right? We don't know where the interest rates are going to go. We don't know, if their plan's going to work out, but we can come alongside them, help identify things to help their earnings. We can run it to kind of in the model as a pretend, kind of scenario, like, hey, what does it look like? How does it actually shape my credit union? And then be able to explain it to them simply. Sometimes these concepts are super complicated. So being able to boil it down to give them the information they need is just a really great way that we can kind of just take some things off their plate and give them a big comfort level too. I always say, like, hey, just give us a call and run it by us, right? We'll figure it out. We see all different kinds of things and do lots of other sorts of, Michael talked about validations. We also do one-off consulting things. So we have, several different projects where credit unions say, hey, I don't think you do this, but can you do this? And so we have, developed over the years lots of different, for example, we'll look at your liquidity process, right? The whole thing. And so there's one-off consulting projects that we do. We want to support you in the best way that you can to make sure credit unions are successful. And I think that's really at the end of the day why we're here and what we do well.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you to the ALM team for sharing your expertise and giving us a better look at how your work supports credit unions every day. Your insights and guidance play an important role in helping credit unions plan ahead and move forward with confidence as they continue accelerating credit union success. I also like to thank Vizo Financial's ALM services for sponsoring today's episode. Credit unions must continually monitor and manage the risk in ever more complex balance sheets. Regulatory requirements continue to focus on preparing adequate assumptions, what-if scenarios, and risk mitigation analysis. Credit union staff and boards are challenged by the needs to devote increasing time and resources to ALM management while operating with limited resource. Vizo Financial exists to support your credit union with the resource and expertise you need. We have services to match the complexity of all credit unions. Contact your corporate account manager to learn more about Vizo Financial's ALM modeling and ALM model validation services. As always, thanks for listening. Join me again next week as we continue spotlighting the teams that are helping credit unions accelerate credit union success. Don't forget to subscribe and make it a great day.